Good evening, everybody. Norwich City's charge to Wembley continues this evening. Trip here to Selhurst Park. You can't see much of it, I'm afraid. We are right at the top of the stand. But we can actually see it well. I can actually see. Paddy's got
I've just tweeted. I'm going to sit up straight here to be above the comments. I've just tweeted a picture of my view. So
go and have a look at it. It's well worth a look. Paddy's not seeing much action tonight, I don't think,
it might improve the content, that though, Connor. We'll move on.
It might do. We're here, of course, to bring you the team news. Norwich City in action this evening against Crystal Palace here at Selhurst Park, a ground in which they haven't won in my lifetime against Crystal Palace. So there's a nice statistic for you. And I think the last 3 visits here have ended with an aggregate score of 6-0. So apart from that, we're feeling infused and optimistic. And it's going to be really interesting to see that Norwich team when it does drop. I think, and Johannes confirmed this to you after the game, it does feel like it's going to be much change, doesn't it? And it'll be interesting to see quite how much change. I wanted to start though with a word because we're going to delve into team news and various other bits for those Norwich City fans. I've not quite got the figure. I'll see if I can find it.
1746.
1746. That's just an incredible number, isn't it? Really, when you consider it's a midweek cup game. Obviously, we know there's probably a big Norwich City base of fans in London, so hopefully they'd come down tonight. It's not an easy place to get to by any account, so wanted to touch upon that. We're about a minute away or so from team news. So, Paddy, I might interject in a moment, but what are you expecting from Norwich City's team this evening?
Well, I think he'll try and balance it off and shake it up, obviously, in terms of personnel from Saturday, but you're still going to want to retain a core of senior established players. That would be my take. Swartau, we've seen him here. I think the indication is probably he won't start the game, but it'd be good to see him at some point. I'd like to see Cordoba start. That'd be his first start, competitive start. Well, first start, funnily enough, in Norwich colours. And more of Cernach, please. So, whatever the result tonight, whether it's progress or not, it'd be nice to see some of these newer players firmly embedding into what we're hopefully going to be this season, which is a tore-up team, which are very exciting and entertaining to watch.
Indeed, and here is that team news. And you get your wish in a few regards. Norwich City, 7 changes, I think I made that. George Long in goal, Fisher, Hanley, Cordoba and Cruzene as the back 4. Gibbs, Nunez and Forson as the midfield 3, with Forsyth and Hernandez either side of Cernach. So just to run through that again, Long in goal, Fisher, Hanley, Cordoba and Cruzene the back 4, Gibbs, Nunez and Forson the midfield 3, with Forsyth, Hernandez and Cernach the front 3. The bench, Archie Mayer, Jack Stacey, Shane Duffy, Callum Doyle, Brad Hills, Kenny McLean, Oscar Schwartau, of course, as we teed on the bench this evening, Borja Sainz and Josh Sargent makes the bench. Alfie, no, it's not true that Borja Sainz is injured. He's here. He's on the bench, and that is the way that Norwich City line up. So, Paddy, I guess you sort of mapped it out quite nicely there. It's a chain, quite a few changes there. Some players who are very much on the fringes, some who are in the need of minutes, some who have opportunities to impress, some who have been retained from Norwich City starting lineup regularly. It's a pretty good blend that Norwich City have struck there.
Yeah, obviously, you could tip too far the other way. I'm seeing a few comments. I've pushed a few through there about Brad Hills possibly getting a bit frustrated, maybe. And the lack of game time, that might resolve itself between now and deadline day. Obviously, Johannes had talked about recently with him. Clearly, they like him, they value him. He's a Norwich player for the future. Is he a Norwich player for the here and now? Maybe not. And if so, that might be another loan posting. But I think Cordoba has to start, so it was who plays alongside him, and I can see why he's gone Hanley tonight. If I'm honest, an experienced player, didn't go for him on the opening day against Oxford, but this is an opportunity to dip him back in, just keep him firmly involved in and around the group. And
sorry, Palace have gone strong. I'm just looking at Adam put together their team graphic. What I can tell you is Mark Gay starts, Eze starts, Decore starts, Tyrick Mitchell starts, Will Hughes starts. We'll bring it up in a moment, but they've gone pretty strong.
I'm very surprised Gay's playing, given it's,
might be a farewell game to
well, it could end up to be the case with the strong links to Newcastle. So, but that's good. That's what a great test if you're a Mankwa Forson to go up against that level of Premier League calibre. Forsyth again, another start. That's an interesting front three, if nothing else. Forsyth, Hernandez and Cernach. We'd imagine it'd be Cernach down the middle. So, again, with views into the Championship and what that might look like as we move forward. Cernach down the middle. Let's see what he's got. Let's see if he's kicked on again from Saturday. So, yeah, okay, we're in a League Cup, guys, tonight, but I'm actually parking that. It's more about what we might see with a view to the Championship, because that's what it's all about this season, really, isn't it? So, Liam Gibbs, big night for him for me.
Yeah.
I think he needs to put down a marker tonight, because that's getting very competitive now, that midfield area. Adding in Schwartau now, Forsan come in recently. Nunes and McLean look pretty set there. So if I'm Liam Gibbs, I need a good performance tonight against good opposition. But all in all, if you'd have said to me before the game, would you be surprised at that 11? Probably not. No, I think it's got the right mix of the young, newer players coming in there with one or two experienced heads, particularly now in light of that Palace lineup. If you'd have tipped too far the other way and just put in Kellen Fisher, Brad Hills, Schwartau, that level of inexperience, I think, that would have been a tough night for them tonight. It still will be a tough night for that Norwich 11, but at least you've got a few experienced heads in amongst the younger ones. So feels like a proper game now. Now we're seeing that Palace lineup. Palace are treating it very seriously. So, looking forward to it.
Yeah, indeed. I think you're right about the attacking makeup, and it maybe underlines the point that we were discussing on the way up, actually, in terms of attacking reinforcements, which is something we'll get onto in a moment. Let's see if we can bring you that Palace 11, because I think it's worth highlighting. Here we go. So they've got Henderson in goal, Klein, Gehi, and Rihad as the back three. Munoz, Hughes, Decore, Mitchell as the midfield four. Kamada and Eze behind Mateta. That is
just the two England internationals from the summer. That's all, and a lad who was pretty integral to France's Olympic silver medal, wasn't he, Mateta?
Yeah. It wasn't. I'll just read you their bench as well. They've got Johnston, Ward, Sarr, Lerma, Schlupp, Wharton, Edward, Richards, and Amada on the bench. So all in all, Glasnow's gone pretty strong here tonight, and I think that's good. As Paddy said, that's going to be really interesting, particularly for a lot of those young Norwich City players tonight who are playing. Let's speak about somebody who isn't here, Paddy. Abu Kamara again. He was omitted from the team on Saturday. Yes, he's on the bench. He obviously not in the squad tonight, and not travelled as we understand, and we reported last night 3 bids from Championship clubs. I think the name of some of those clubs have appeared tonight. Hull, obviously, one of those, probably heading up the queue at the moment for him. What do you make of, obviously, his omission? Because I think people will look at the bids and maybe feel that this is moving a certain way, which it might be. But as things stand, is there any real shift in position?
No, I mean, we've checked with the relevant people inside the club on arrival here, and it's not moved on from the update that you put out there last night, which is there is interest. It's multiple clubs, but the figures that those clubs are gravitating towards at the minute are not going to get this job done, as it didn't with John Rowe, as it didn't with Adam Eder. Until they came up to levels that Norwich wanted to trade at, there was no deal. And that's the case as we sit here now, Tuesday night, Selhurst Park. But obviously, 3-4 days, 11 p.m. Friday, a lot can happen. A lot can happen on deadline day, as we know from last summer, and then into the deadline day +1. So, but right here, right now, no, he's not travelled. He's not involved. He's obviously, it's reaching a point where there are clubs interested. It would make no sense for him to play tonight. But the figure you put out there is where we believe those clubs are at, which is 2.5. That's not going to get it done. You're probably going to have to go 5 and above for Norwich to even consider it. And as a caveat to this whole situation, Abu Kamara will not leave if Norwich cannot source a replacement, irrespective of whether those clubs hit the levels of finance Norwich want. That was reiterated again tonight. Norwich needs to be able to bring in somebody to allow him to go, irrespective of where it gets to on the financials. That's a very important point worth bearing in mind.
Rainier, I've read he's on a plane. His mum's following Norwich. We're following him. It's all kicking off. But it's not.
No. A player of interest, one of many, and that's where it's at. So let's not get too carried away.
Just relax.
With the gifts of what's that monument in Rio? I've seen that on social media for the last few days.
Tough deal to get done, isn't it? By all accounts, as would be inevitable for any Real Madrid.
I mean, I've seen inaccurate figures of what salary he's on, from earlier in the week, and how Norwich can afford that. Trust me, he's on substantially more than any of the current Norwich squad. So the finances around doing that deal would be difficult, to put it mildly. But clearly, take it back to post-match Saturday, Johannes has been very good on whenever we've asked him about where you are in terms of incomings, and he said, look, we want to do a few players in attacking areas between now and Friday. Rainier clearly is an attacking player. So, yes, one they're well aware of. But, again, right here, right now, nothing that suggests he's going to be getting unveiled anytime soon. So, just let's dial it down a notch.
Just take a deep breath. It's a long week ahead of us. There's plenty of hours to go. Just take a deep breath and relax. Otherwise, Paddy, still, as I think we've said a few times, multiple plates spinning, but it doesn't sound like anything's in a position as we sit here tonight. Obviously, things change rapidly and do change rapidly, but it doesn't feel like there's anything that is sort of moving close to conclusion at this stage.
No. Again, we've had a status check on arrival here, and no sense internally that anything purely in terms of the incoming element is moving to the point where in the next 24 hours or so anything's likely to happen. So, unfortunately for me and you, mate, that means it's going to probably be quite a hectic Friday. But for your Norwich fans, that's very exciting, isn't it? Because, who wants it all done and dusted before midday on Friday? No. Let's go right to the wire and,
You won't be saying that at 2 in the morning.
Pull a rabbit out of the hat. Yeah, deal sheets. I'm inferring we're going to be talking about deal sheets again. Hopefully not. But, no, as we sit here now, they obviously want to do. I mean, we try to put a number on the Pinkham podcast 2/3. Obviously, it's a fluid situation with Kamara, but as of now, no, nothing imminent, and certainly no Brazilians imminent. No.
Yes, indeed. Back to tonight, Paddy. That front three, and I guess probably it links quite nicely with our discussion. That front three in particular, Forsyth, Hernandez, and Sianax, obviously Sargent on the bench, Sainz on the bench. Does it underpin what we've been speaking about there? That attacking area of the pitch, they need more numbers, don't they? And quality as well, a bit more depth.
Yeah, and just as a sort of subset of that, just to answer George's question, we don't believe so, do we, Connor?
No, as of last night, it's going to take something astronomical, and I'm not sure that anyone at this stage is going to meet what Norwich wanted. I think we've reported a few times now that there was a bid earlier in the summer of that started with a 2 that wasn't considered by Norwich. So you've got to think maybe we're pushing into the 3 now, given how close they are to the winner. But you have to look at it from Norwich's perspective as well. At this stage, to lose him and how talismanic he is, his goals, irrespective of money, you're not replacing him in the team. I've got a column from Chris Sutton on this in a couple of days' time. Actually, he's very good on it in terms of mapping out how difficult it is, and he's been a player in Josh Sargent's position as well at Norwich in terms of signing a new contract and maybe feeling that things were moving in a slightly different direction. He had to wait a little bit, so there's some good parallels there. So I urge people to read that when it appears.
I mean, to bring that back, Connor, to your original question. Yeah, I mean, and that's why Cernach is interesting tonight, because there's a player who. You look at his record in Poland, and you wouldn't say it was prolific in terms of goal scoring or goal contributions, but he does look like technically he's got something about him. And they've obviously sourced him with a view to being that player who can offer something maybe they are missing. If you look beyond Sargent, it looks a bit light in terms of the goal scoring stakes. They're going to need players to step up, whether it's wider attacking players, whether it's that midfield 3. But you certainly can't have this season now subject to no curveballs between now and Friday at 11. You cannot have just reliance on just Sargent.
No, indeed, you cannot. This is
Put that one in,
let's throw this one in from PK. I mean, I've not heard this name, but I think he is Danish, isn't he? Anis Slimani. I saw him speaking to Oscar Schwartau actually after the game on Saturday. So interesting. If that is the case, we'll look into it, but not a name that we've heard as of yet. Paddy, in terms of tonight, I think we've mapped it out, but you look at that Palace team, and I think it reinforces what a difficult night this could be for Norwich, but a really good test for some of those players to maybe stake a claim in amongst what could be a pretty difficult night. Particularly, you look at, we've referenced Cordoba, we've referenced maybe Hernandez, who did very well in the first round. There are others, aren't there, in this starting lineup? Liam Gibbs, you referenced. Individually, it feels like quite an important night for a few of these players.
Well, Cordoba is now, I've seen that Palace lineup. I mean, you're going up against him and Hanley, but Cordoba, Matete and Eze, I mean, that is, with the greatest respect to the Bulgarian league, that's quite a step up. So I'm really interested now. First competitive start for his new club. Let's see what he's about. Let's see a glimpse of against high caliber direct opponents. Can he match them? Can he deal with the physicality? Can he deal with the athleticism and the pace that they possess? So, yeah, there's lots of subplots here in this 11 now, matching up against that Palace 11. And I think we all felt when Cordoba was unveiled that he is going to be the main man in that back four. So it'd be nice to see more evidence of that tonight. And then it's that central defensive debate we had post Oxford is less of a debate if you feel Cordoba is almost inked in now, because we saw how good Callum Doyle was on Saturday. I thought Duffy kicked on again. I thought he responded well to the criticism.
My bad, sorry. I knew he played in Denmark.
Criticism that came, Shane Duffy, the criticism came post Blackburn. So what was a position, it felt of vulnerability maybe tonight if we see Cordoba hold his own. You start to feel a bit more comfortable when you've got Doyle to bring back into that central defensive area.
Yeah, how do you see it going tonight then, Paddy? It's an interesting one, and a reminder to everybody: no extra time here tonight. Go straight to penalties if it ends in a draw within the 90 minutes. How do you see it going?
I don't want penalties because that's going to be a bit challenging for our print deadlines. Apart from anything else, I won't see anything with this post anyway. If you've not done what I'm talking about, go to my social media. You'll see that wonderful view here.
Norwich never win here.
You've never seen a win in your lifetime, you said, didn't you?
Yeah, not one here in my lifetime. Against Palace. They beat Wimbledon, I think, in 2001. But...
Yeah, I don't recall too many successful trips here either. So, yeah, you've got to think 3-1 Palace tonight, I think. But, as I say, for me, it isn't about necessarily cup progress. It's about, do we leave tonight thinking, I like what I see of Cernach. I like what I see of Cordoba. I liked what I saw of Schwartau in that little cameo maybe in the second half. Because it's all about, for me, Coventry away this weekend. That's the big game this weekend.
And for you, yeah.
You?
I think they'll get beat here. I think I might go for 3-0. Actually, having looked at that Palace team, it's going to be strong. They've obviously started the Premier League campaign with back-to-back defeats as well, which I wonder if that's maybe why Glasner has gone strong tonight, just to get that win on the board to try and build up some momentum. And I think. I looked at their fixture. I think they've got Chelsea and one of the Manchester sides coming up in pretty short order as well. So tough starts to the season for Palace heading into that first international break, which maybe explains the rationale there. But
sorry, Connor, to cut across you, I would just say, I'm looking down here. We're 45 minutes from a kickoff. That is not what you would call a rammed home end at any point yet. We know there's
not a particularly glamorous start.
Well, no, but on this evidence, we're going to be struggling to get past 10,000. So whether they're just in the park,
you might be able to get a better seat down there.
I'll be on my way. Don't you worry. I'll get on the pitch at this rate. But unless they're just enjoying the summer sunshine outside the ground. But 45 minutes to go, maybe it'll fill out. But
there's a Sainsbury's. They're probably in there, aren't they?
Yeah. But it doesn't feel like there's cup fever swirling around this part of South London.
No, we're full of cup fever. We can't wait. Pinken.com, the place to go. No, you're all right. Thank you. Pinken.com, the place to go this evening for all of your coverage, analysis, reaction. Paddy will be speaking to Johannes off Torp after the game, so we'll get the latest on all of the transfer activity or not at Carrow Road to come in the next few days. 2-0 Norwich, that's what we like. Let's end on that. Thank you, everybody, and we will catch up soon. See you later.